Hello, my wonderful little collections of bones. It's me, Glass Lotuses, your friendly and mildly eerie digital artist, writer, and cat lover. How are you doing this evening? I hope you've had a pleasant day. I went to my local farmer's market recently and came across a crochet artist who makes earrings out of crochet. They are the absolute tiniest crochet work, and I am in love with them. Today, I want to talk about the god of vengeance and balance. She is the first of three gods who came as a trio: mercy, cruelty, and balance. When I originally presented these three on TikTok, I introduced mercy first. However, I don't want to go out of order here, as Ione is the last of the set of gods working with the earth god. So we will introduce mercy later on, but just know that the man in this drawing is the god of mercy. And our lovely pink character here is the god of vengeance and balance, whom we will be discussing. As the god of vengeance and balance, Ione acts to ensure that no one puts too much negativity into the world without some equivalent cosmic reciprocation. She enjoys enacting both divine punishment and gifting divine rewards upon those she deems worthy of either. She is one of the trio of mercy, cruelty, and balance, sometimes referred to as the gods of the scales or the gods of centers. Of the three, Ione is generally the most powerful in terms of energy she gets from mortals. Most people swim through life being kind to those who are kind to them and being upset with people who treat them poorly, and it is this behavior from which she draws energy. Ione represents equality, but not necessarily equity. She represents an eye for an eye, but that can leave the whole world blind. Treat those around you well, and it comes back. Treat those around you poorly, and you might find yourself poorly too. It is for this reason she is viewed as the god of vengeance, especially after what she did. Of the other two, Mercy was a weaver, capable of creating realities of his own. He had previously created the reality where Ione was born, a universe in which every sentient being had a number somewhere on their person. This number related to how frequently someone acted to help someone else or hurt someone else. Behaviors required to sustain life within reason did not impact this score. It was almost purely social. For example, hunting a deer for food and providing it a swift and merciful end would not deduct from one's number. Hunting for sport, though, and causing pain as a game would certainly act against you. While everyone else in society was generally trying to be as nice as they could be, an order of priests and priestesses came about which sought to help their god by putting a bit of negativity into the world. These people felt it was best to maintain a perfectly neutral, balanced score, and aimed for every positive action to be accompanied by an equally negative action. The Order of Neutrality, as it was called, were some of the few actually committing crimes and behaving intentionally out of the norm. Steal an apple from a well-off merchant, turn around and give it to a starving person. Insult your flagrantly ignorant uncle at a family gathering. Spend some time making your aging grandmother happy by spending time with her. They were not afraid to speak their minds or level the playing field, and they followed their god to the ends of the earth. As one of the first within this order, Ione took this task very seriously. She excelled at keeping her number neutral while performing more and more drastic acts. Some members of the order kept their neutrality simple, insulting people or committing petty crimes to offset their good deeds. Ione went the extra mile. In both life and death, she has always had a soft spot for dogs, and learned to train them to do many things. As society began to cast the Order of Neutrality members out, Ione used the dogs she trained to enact revenge. The dogs would be sent to steal, set fires, or go after the people who outcast them. After she passed away, Ione was rewarded for her devotion to her god. Mercy had paid attention to her, and she was brought on as a spirit to help aid in maintaining the balance of the world. If people deserved some bad luck, she was more than willing to provide it, and vice versa. For as long as they were in that universe, Ione continued to serve her god even in death, until the day came where they needed to leave the world they developed behind. Ione, the god of mercy, and the god of cruelty all ended up in a romantic, albeit occasionally tumultuous relationship. Typically, though, they tend to function as a unit. In our current pantheon, Ione played a large part in the War of the Gods, and the actions she took heavily influenced some of the challenges our heroes go on to face. She actually significantly changed the political landscape and even the physical landscape within the mortal world. If you pay attention to the eyes of some of the characters I draw, you might actually be able to figure out some of the ramifications her magic had, but I won't go too deep into that currently. For Ione's design, I really wanted to include some gods with horns, and of course, I enjoy atypical skin colors. I'm an absolute sucker for characters with either horns or pointed ears, especially the really long kind of swoopy ones, in both cases. I wanted the gods of vengeance and cruelty to have similar but opposing aesthetics, as they come from the same universe but have different motives and powers. Thus, I wanted to give each of them pinkish skin and horns. I really enjoy drawing tieflings, and to be honest, Ione is essentially a tiefling. I also wanted both of the gods of vengeance and cruelty to have hair that kind of evoked ribbons, but with opposing nature, that means that Ione got some very curly ribbony hair. For Ione, given the part of her theme is vengeance. I had the thought in mind that something akin to a victory roll hairstyle might be cool. V for victory and vengeance. Of course, it's kind of missing the other side of the V, but the overall large curl ended up being what I went with. I adore 1940s hairstyles with how swoopy they tend to be. I think it also sets a nice foundation that Ione comes before the god of cruelty chronologically, given that Ione has a bit of an older-fashioned, poofier, frillier, curlier style, and the god of cruelty is a bit more modern. Ione also ended up with these teardrop-shaped ribbon designs running all over her. There was no specific reason, I just had designed the brush in Photoshop and really liked it, but I really enjoyed the aesthetic and have kept it in the future drawings I've done of her so far. I didn't draw an original drawing of her on her own until recently, so this drawing of her with Mercy is the only one that I have from earlier on. I imagine her adoring him as a god, and then as a lover and friend later on. That becomes extremely relevant later during the War of the Gods. And I suppose this concludes my little section on Ione for now. I hope you stay tuned and watch the next one, as it will be on the god of cruelty. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in learning more about this story, the world, and the characters within it, please like and subscribe. Good night.